Hello, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Breakfast Show with me, Masike Munto.
And John Nyambura.
You're so excited that you've joined us this morning. You can see the energy over here. Although it's a little bit cold, but we're so much excited that you've joined the show, that you've tuned in to the show this morning. Welcome so much. Welcome. We've missed you guys. And not to go far. John, how has been your week so far?
Amazing. Only a bit chilly.
It has been chilly
in the morning. Kuja na boda boda, so it has been chilly.
It has been chilly for Joanne. For me, it has been a very hot, sunny week. Sana jua kwanza jua inawaka ni kama we in January. Like I was like, why jua inapunga kwa forward? You're like, wait, what? Are we in January or is something happening?
You cannot even tell the difference. You can actually tell the difference.
Yes.
Because in the morning it's a bit chilly. Alafu ile jua inakuja mchana. My friend, unaanza kuishi asubuhi itafika lini?
During my grandmother's age, or when I go back to Shago, actually, my grandmother used to say that he journey mvua. So me, I'm used to this type of sun is for the rain. I've been waiting for the rain since I don't know how long. But thank you so much for tuning in. This is AFarmers Media Breakfast Show, and we're so much excited. The hot breakfast show. Don't forget that it's the hot breakfast show. Yes, must be there because you can see the type of energy despite being the morning, the chilly morning. We are here just to give you whatever knowledge that we acquired. So as we said here in AFarmers, we do connect, learn, and grow. Yes, and we also want you as farmers to gain knowledge. Not just knowledge, remember we have money. So you just gain knowledge and also increase your profits, increase your yields, to ensure that at the end of every season, you have what you aspired, you wanted to.
Yes.
Have to be as a farmer. Yes. So before we actually even go far, Joanne, today is Thursday. Any TBT you have for us?
Any
TBT because it's a TBT Thursday. You have to. You should be having a TBT. That's something to that takes you back and you're like, wow.
Basically, I have a few, but nakumbukanga the first time I went to campus, the first day. I remember we went with my mom to get the letter because that time there was no internet.
Yes. You have to go physically and pick your letter.
Now imagine you're so fresh and you're going to campus. My friend, the experience was another level. I'll never forget that. So many people, so many different people, so many different ways of dressing, ways of talking, and they look so mature, and yet you're like,
I'm gonna hapa. Hey, this Joanne's TBT throwback Thursday. For me, my throwback, I'll take it a while back.
Wow.
When I was in, should I say primary or I'll take it to high school? Primary is so far. High school,
as long as it's juicy.
Yeah,
we don't mind.
Yes, let me take you a while back to my throwback. I remember when I was in school, in my school, there was a place called Flamingo Corner.
Okay.
Flamingo Corner is a school canteen, but it's called Flamingo Corner.
Good.
So when my first day in high school, the first day, my roommate told me, you know what? When you wake up early in the morning at 3 a.m., do you see that place called Flamingo Corner? If you go there, you'll see flamingos. Trust me, I've never healed from that moment. I've never healed. I'm still hurting. Yes, for me that's my greatest throwback in high school because I usually woke up 3 a.m. to go and see flamingos. But who wakes up? Where are flamingos doing in school? So that's
and where was it located?
It's just around the school.
No, the school. Where was it located?
I don't want to disclose where my school was, but just know.
But there was no chance.
There was no chance. It's Nairobi. It's in Nairobi, in the midst of somewhere. It's in Nairobi.
Shambalama, where you get flamingos. That one tried.
Flamingos. I was like, oh really? So if I wake up at 3 and see yes, you'll see flamingos over there, and it has been a torture for the rest of my 4 years in high school because I used to walk to that place and I was like, did I really believe that there should be flamingos in this place?
Wait,
There's even water.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
What did you do when you got there and you didn't?
I didn't go because I'm a very scared person of the dark, so I didn't go.
Okay.
I actually peeped through my hostel room window. So I woke up, my alarm, you see those same excited about everything, mom, I need a watch, I need an alarm, your focus. So alarm 3 in the morning, and I wake up. I see there are no flamingos. I'm like, oh no, let me wait. Just 3, maybe around 3:10 there they'll be here. But anyway, that's my throwback for this is today's throwback Thursday. Please, on the comment section down below, tell us what is your throwback. What's that one moment that you look back at and you're like, wow, this is one thing that probably in the next 20 years, 30, 40 years, I'll never forget. For me, that is my greatest memory and my greatest throwback.
Yes.
Thank you. You can actually tell us your TBT on the comment section down below, or that's on our Facebook page, because we're live right now on Facebook, and we're also live on YouTube. So on our Facebook page, you can comment down below, and you feel like if you need to DM us or you need to text us, call us, you can DM us on our Instagram. You can also tweet on Twitter. We are at AFarmers with a Z. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Also, you can call us, text us, SMS us. Yes, that's on 0700293031. I'll repeat that again, 0700293031. You can tell us what is your TBT, because I'm sure I need to excite people during this show. Like, we need to tell people of some TBTs, because today is Thursday and we want to make this Thursday memorable. So before we just dive into today's topic, because we have a very interesting topic. We have an amazing topic here today that we want to share with you, our viewers. And actually, before we do that, Joanne, I want to ask you a question. Being a TBT Thursday, today is a TBT Thursday. I'm not asking you for another TBT. I have a question. When you go to the market and you find, one time you go to the market and you find maybe tomatoes are 8-10, and the other day you go to the market again and you find tomatoes is 2 at 10 bob, same size. At what particular period of time between those two times do you buy? Do you stock a lot of tomatoes in your house, for example?
I think depends on my storage. But if I find the tomatoes are
8-10
cheaper, I think I'll get more if I have the ability to buy
at that time.
Yes.
So let's say, for example, you don't see the urge of tomatoes are 8-10. Maybe at one particular at that time you need to buy 8 tomatoes, and these 8 tomatoes are used to cooking with 8 all of them. So are you going to buy this one time? Are you going to buy these tomatoes for 10 bob, 8-10? Ama you'll buy more, maybe probably for 20 bob or 30 bob. Ama during this other time you're going to buy tomatoes for 40 bob, because 2 are at 10 bob, which means 40 bob. At what time do you?
I think I'll get at the lower price.
The lower price is when you get.
I get more.
Yes. You just stock more because you use more during the lower price. So this takes us to today's topic. Today we are discussing about the demand and supply, and basically it's just demand and supply in the field of agriculture. This field of agriculture, this is where we are in. This is where we as farmers, don't forget, we as farmers, this is the field that we are in. So we want to discuss about the demand and supply in agriculture, and we want to first understand what is demand and supply. How do these terms actually get to intertwine with one another, and what are some of the factors that actually affect the demand and supply in the market? Like understanding when the demand is high or when the supply is high, what happens in the market? How does the market look like? You can actually help us, and this takes us to the question of the day. At what time do you buy more? Is it when the supply is high or when the supply is less? At what time do you get, maybe if it's tomatoes, just as I've asked Joanne, at what time, at what particular period do you buy, maybe if it's your goods or if it's your veggies, at what time do you buy more of them? Is it when the demand, or no, is it when the supply is so high, or when the supply minimizes? Maybe unagopa, what if I don't buy these tomatoes today, kesho nipate moja imefika 10 bob. So tell us, at what time Do you buy more of maybe the tomatoes, or if it's the onions or the vegetables, at what time? And if you're actually supplying, you as a supplier, for example, so maybe you're supplying tomatoes, at what particular time is your demand in the market so high? Is it when you're supplying more, wakati umetoa kama ni maembe uko zimejaa mti ziko yellow, at what particular period is the demand in the market high? Is it when you have more, or is it when you have less? What do you think, John?
I think if I had a lot of them,
you have maybe a lot of, maybe let's say you have a lot of mangoes. Mangoes is season. So you have a lot of mangoes over here, and you're thinking of probably maybe selling them. You're not thinking you have to sell them.
You have to sell
You've
them.
put an effort, because this is what you've got. This is your yield. They look amazing. And what do you think? When will be your demand in the market high? When you have more, or when you have less of it?
Basically, it depends. It depends. If I have a lot of it, basically after some time, the demand will go down. But immediately after the mangoes have ripened, the demand is very high. But as you continue, watu wanakulanga kitu alafu wanaboeka.
Yes.
So basically, as time goes,
go higher. We actually want to draw to help to us to discuss the demand, supply, and now we have where the cost comes in. What is the price when the demand is high? What is the cost of commodities? And when the supply and the demand is low, what is the cost of commodities? So, for example, I think, let me say, for example, I'm selling. I want to talk about goods that are not perishable. Maize. Nimevuna mahindi. And maybe nimevuna mahindi, I'm selling at a point whereby maybe maize, it's 40 bob per kilogram. So I think it's around 50 there per kgs. So that's maize. That's around 50 bob per kg. Let me say nimevuna and my maize is here when the market price of maize per kilogram is 35 Kenyan shillings.
Okay.
So, me as a farmer personally, if I was to be that farmer, and the other day we were talking about being that farmer that you've been aspiring to be, that you look upon to be. If I was that farmer, actually I would invest more on storage. I store this maize of mine very well, and I wait till the market price is at 50 bob. That's when I sell. That's when I have more, because when I'm supplying more, which means the demand in the market is less. Even if the demand is high, the cost will be still chini. Because kila mtu anauza. So you have to sell at a price that your maize will sell. So for me personally, I think nitafanya nini na store vizuri perfectly well, and wait when the market demand is so high. This is the time I'm actually going to sell now. This is a particular time when the market demand is high, then I'm going to sell.
But I think there's a challenge in that. Masi unaweza sema hivyo and the price does not go up. There's a time the prices never went up. And this season you have
don't heartbreak me, and I want to start my avocado business. I want to plan how I'm going to be storing them and wait when avocado is 30 bob. What each is 30 bob, that's when I'll be selling. Don't heartbreak me that the price is not going to change, Joanna.
They might change. The thing with business, there are two things. There are two ways.
Yes,
it might change maybe after another season. Kama mvua ni mzuri, people there will be an enough supply of maize.
Yes.
Hii mahindi yako umeweka huku.
Utauzia nani?
Utauzia nani?
Today we are having a very hot discussion. I think this discussion is not going to end today. I don't think it can end today. We're going to call in expertise and help us discuss and get to understand the market.
Yes, because it is a very broad topic that needs a lot of information, understanding.
Understanding. Yes. You need to know the demand, the supply. Actually, before we came into the show, we were with our Madam Director. And we're actually arguing about the demand and the supply in the market.
Yes.
And she insisted that when the demand is high, the supply is less.
It's low. Yes.
Or when the supply is more, the demand is less. So we want us to call in expertise for us to settle this, because if we don't settle, she'll be harassing us during the shows. So we need to find someone to help us settle this and understand about the demand, the supply, and the cost in the market. Because before we understand that, we want us to look at some of the factors that affect demand and supply. But before that, again, I want Joanne to, because she did agribusiness, so
Wow.
she knows better. I think she knows better. I want Joanne to help us understand. I'm actually blank, even me personally, because I'm here to learn. So I need to understand what is the meaning of demand and what's the meaning of supply, and how does these two words actually intertwine? How do they relate? How do we find ourselves in these two words, demand and supply, and how we as farmers relate to this word, words, let me say words, demand and supply. Joanne, the floor is yours.
No, I think, Mercy, I think you have a little understanding. You're a farmer already, right? So
I
just
am
give
a
me,
farmer. My
just
viewers
give
can
me-
attest to
yeah.
this.
Just give me any definition you have in your mind.
I want you to tell
Demand.
us, tell me first, before I choma in front of the camera, and maybe my fellow farmers, young farmers, won't trust me. So I want Joanne as the expertise in this field, because she's gone through that. Yes, me, I'm a farmer. I'm an aspiring farmer with no background in farming.
Hey, Lord.
I am an aspiring farmer with no. Yes, I have a background in farming. Yes, I've gone to Shago, Tunaenda, Tunalima, and everything. But I am an aspiring farmer. My grandma is not that one person who tells you that, so this is how you hold, and before you plant. No, my grandma thinks that we should know how to plow, and she gives you a small piece of land. The rest when you're mezoya kulima, they given bigger
The bigger
portions. But unapatiwa a small portion and you're energized. Oh my God, I know how to farm. I know that's not farming. So for me, I'm an aspiring farmer who wants to take this field. But before that, I need Joanne to clearly explain to me what is demand and supply, because these are some of the important terms that I should know before I actually venture into this. Joanne, yes.
In basic and simple terms, demand is the willingness and the ability to buy a commodity.
That's simple.
Yes.
John is saying simple, and she's giving us. John used English words.
This is the simplest I know.
Okay,
like
tell us.
it's the willingness. Like wewe uko unataka kununua, like do you have that feeling? Yes.
That I want to buy.
Yes. Then the next thing is, do you have the ability
To buy it.
Yes.
Ability must be there in caps. You
Yes.
must have the ability, because you're not going to
The
buy
ability.
anything without the ability to
Yes.
buy it.
So you've understood that the willingness and the ability to buy that commodity, kama ni maize, kama ni tomatoes, kama ni onions, at a given time and a given price. So that is the definition of demand in simpler terms.
And
Are we
supply.
together?
Yes, up to there. We are together. Very much together, yes. And the supply.
It's the number of goods and services. Okay, let me not use the supplier. A person who is giving the goods and services.
So if you said for me, demand is the willingness for me to buy, then that means for supply is the willingness for me as a the willingness
Exactly, you
of
still-
me to give out that particular commodity.
Yes, to offer.
Or to offer it out
to offer,
to the
yes,
market.
to offer to the market at a given price and a given time.
Before we continue,
Yes.
we have some things that are actually trending right now, but despite apart from the bill that was read the other day, we have fuel prices. I'm still not yet understanding why the government actually released funds to go and pay the debts that they had for fuel suppliers. But today morning, as I was coming to work, actually, I find a very hectic jam, and I'm so sure many people are experiencing this. Nilipatana na jam. Imagine Kitengela kukua na jam. Now coming this way, going towards the center of Isinya. So you can imagine it having traffic.
Yes.
So I was like, what's not happening? Only to realize that people were actually, maybe from around 3 a.m. in the morning, they were lined up to get fuel. So I'm not understanding what's really happening. So here the demand for fuel is really high, but the supply is minimal. You see, I'm almost getting there. The demand for fuel, because and I saw another meme that someone was selling. I don't know if it's using a Pro Box, but he was selling diesel at 220 per liter. Yes. Can imagine what Kenyans are facing. Just calling upon the government, not the government or the people responsible, because there were rumors. Let me call it rumors, because there's no evidence that actually the suppliers are selling the fuel out of the country. So it's just urging because when fuel is like everything in the country's economy, sindio? Because kama mimi kama mkulima nda transportaje mimi kwenda kwa market kama hakuna mafuta kwa lori yangu. See, fuel is everything. Fuel is basically everything to this economy, from transport sector to everything, to agriculture. Basically anything needs fuel because you need to move.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it's really sad, and it's really affecting people out here. Because imagine maybe someone unexpecting it, and actually this leads to maybe some of the malpractices in the country, maybe robbery and everything. Because personally, I've devoted myself to maybe waking up in the morning. For example, I'm a motorbike person. I wake up in the morning, nenda na hustle, napata 500 bob yangu, I go and buy myself a meal. But how am I going to hustle if I don't have fuel? Not that I don't have the money to buy, but I don't have the fuel. Because the other day, someone was saying that he was ready to fuel his motorbike with fuel worth 1,500. But anafika huko, the maximum you can fuel is 200 shillings. So imagine you as a driver, 200 itakupeleka wapi? Utabeba customers wangapi na 200 bob?
But
It's very sad.
It's okay. I think they are going to review the oil prices again because they do it every 14th. That is what I've heard. So we are hoping for the best. We are really hoping for the best because that is the only thing we can do right now.
Yes, we're just hoping for the best. Yes, just for us viewers, sit tight. We just praying that things will get better. Yes. And as things get better, we are here every single morning from 8 a.m. from 8 a.m. to. I'm saying from 8.
We are
here every single day from 7 a.m. Let me not lie to you. Just that my mind has been registering something I need to do at 8, but it's from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And afterwards we have Diana Mdega with Shajara. Yes. That is from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And Farm Drive is here, as you always know. This is my favorite show.
Wow.
Seconding breakfast show. Breakfast show is my favorite show. Yes, this is my favorite show. But on position 2, I have 2 shows that are tying. That is Shajara and Farm Drive. So those are my 2 favorite shows. So Brian Mwenda will be coming in today for Farm Drive's show from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So sit tight, don't miss on anything. And if by any chance you've missed our previous show, you can actually watch them again on our social media pages. We are at
AFarmers Media on Facebook, AFarmers with a Z, and I think we have an underscore for Twitter and Instagram, and on YouTube we have AFarmers Media. Yes.
We are also on LinkedIn. Don't forget, we are on LinkedIn. You can find us at AFarmers Media. Please DM us. You can DM us. Yes, you can call us. You can text us. Just any means of communication that you have. Trust me, it will reach us. And if you have any questions, if you need to visit our farm, either here or in Etaina, we have farms. Yes, you need to visit our farms and see how we are actually doing it, how we are maneuvering our way in farming. As we told you, we are farmers. So if you want to know how we are maneuvering our ways in farming, how we are doing it qua ground, sasa, leave us. Apart from us here talking, we actually go to the ground. Probably after this show, maybe nenda kuangalia mimea mahali. So if you want to know how we are doing it on the ground, you can actually visit our offices, or you can call the number that I gave you in at the beginning of the show. That is 0700293031. You can call us, and I'm sure you'll get help from there on how you're going to reach at our farms.
Yes.
So, and if you have any question that you feel, you can DM us. We also have a platform. It's called Africa Farmers Club. That is on Facebook. Yes. You can join that group. Trust me, it's an amazing group. I've learned a lot.
My friend.
I've learned a lot. It's an amazing group. You can join that group. See how people are doing it. See what are the challenges that people out here are actually facing, and how they've actually managed to come out victorious.
And you know, there's nothing as good as hearing from another farmer.
Yes, when you hear a story from someone, the same way if you're going to buy something, for example, or on an online platform, what is the first place you go to? Apart from knowing the price, what's the other place you go to and
the
check?
reviews?
You see. So if you feel like you need to listen to testimonials, you can post your question at African Farmers, and we will be sure to help. We want to take a very short commercial break, and when we come back, we want to look on the factors affecting demand and supply in agriculture. Taking a short break, we'll be back soon.
Beetroot is a highly nutritious root vegetable. The beetroot is the taproot portion of a beet plant. It is one of the many varieties of the genus Beta vulgaris, all of which are mostly grown for their edible taproots and leaves. Beetroot is a root crop that takes approximately 3 to 4 months to mature. Beetroot is a fairly easy crop to grow as long as the soil is well cultivated prior to planting. Beetroots do not enjoy wet, boggy or shady soils. Beetroot can be sown in trays and transplanted when the seedlings have 2 true leaves. Plant in full sun, space seedlings 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and rows 20 centimeters to 30 centimeters apart so they have room to grow. Beetroots are also ideal for containers or raised beds. Beetroots will happily thrive in small areas as long as there is at least 20 centimeters depth of soil. Beetroot has been used not only for food but also for treatment for numerous conditions. Celery is a marshland plant that comes from the same family as carrots and parsley. It has long, firm and pale green fibrous stalks and grows in bunches of approximately 8 to 10 centimeters. The stalks taper into leaves at the top. When planting celery, it's best to ensure that the soil is enriched with compost and with a soil pH of between 5.8 to 6.8. It is also important for celery to grow in moisture-retentive soil. Lastly but not the least, select a site that receives full and direct sunlight. celery needs about 130 to 140 days to mature between seedling and harvest. Growing celery is generally considered to be an ultimate vegetable gardening challenge. It's easy to grow, but has very specific needs.
Welcome back to the AFarmers Hot Breakfast Show with me, Masi Kemunto.
Joan Nyambura.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just joining us, this is the breakfast show. We excited that you are actually here, and today we are talking about the demand and supply in the field of agriculture in this particular sector of agriculture. Yes, John is smiling at me because John, as I told you, I'm actually an aspiring farmer. I want to do farming. I want to enter into farming. I just realized that it's the most interesting art that you can actually put your mind, physical energy, and everything to it. Yeah, so for me, any encouragements? Any final words?
Karibu sana.
Oh, so you're there already? And you've been blind, so you're there already?
I'm a professional farmer. What do you mean?
She's a professional farmer. I'm an aspiring farmer. Thank you. We had earlier on posted a question asking if you are a supplier, at what time do you actually sell most? Is it when the demand is high, or is it when the demand is low? Please continue answering. We're going to read your comments before the end of the show. And we are also told you to give us your TBT. What's that one thing that you look back at and you say, wow, apparently banned, by the way. This is my greatest memory. This is something that should be written somewhere in my eulogy. Like there's that one particular experience, or there's that one particular thing. Or you can actually even share your TBT pictures. We'll be so glad to see them. Yes. So you can actually share TBT pictures, but to see banters of this internet can actually decide to embarrass you in ways that you cannot even talk about.
I think nitakusave Masi Flamingo.
You see. So she has just started calling me Masi Flamingo because I was lying that there are flamingos in my head. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. This is the breakfast show. This is AFarmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. And we actually tell the story of a farmer every single day. We actually have different stories to tell. You just join us on our lives, and trust me, you're sure going to learn something new. So if you're joining us for the very first time, don't forget to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can actually engage in this conversation by DMing us, tweeting. That's on AFarmers with a Z. That is on Instagram and Twitter. We are AFarmers Media on Facebook and AFarmers Media on LinkedIn. You have any question?
YouTube.
Yes, YouTube, we are AFarmers Media.
Hey,
Please hit that
YouTube?
notification bell. Hit that notification bell. I'm repeating again.
Yes.
Hit that notification bell, because when you go live, you're going to be notified. And you're notified, which means you're learning. And when you learn, you grow profits. When you grow profits, you attain knowledge. Yes, that's it. That's all here at AFarmers Media. So we are looking at some of the factors. Before we went for a break, we're discussing about factors that affect demand and supply in agriculture.
Yes.
But before we go that, Joan, yesterday night I had an amazing experience. Ask why.
Why? Why?
Joan, I was saying yesterday night I had an experience. You know, when you have nice food, it means your night is good. And your experience, that's a nice experience for me.
I think I know where you're heading to. Well, okay.
You know where I'm heading to. When it comes to food, when you have amazing food at night, then trust me. Yesterday I cooked ugali.
Okay.
I cooked ugali for myself, and when I was cooking, I was like, wow, Mercy, are you sure this ugali you're cooking is for one person? I asked myself that question. Are you sure you ugali haitari? Because I was like, God, I've already started cooking. Let me just cook. I will try and not nisi tupe. I will eat it tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, I finished the ugali. You know why? You know why? Because I realized there's flour and there's ugali. So for me, ugali is kana. So kuna unga ugali na kuna unga na kuna kana. So I use kana to cook ugali.
No,
and
understand.
trust me, I'm a living testimony.
Clearly, ulimaliza yote.
Yes, I
no, that is could blame. If it's kana,
and friend. Actually, I was surprised to. Someone should not lie to you. Kana is there in every retail shop, in every supermarket in your area, because actually, I walked into a supermarket and I was like, God, so where am I going to get kana? Where am I? I just walked to the unga section, and I was like, there is my best friend. There is kana. Now kana is going to be making me to be eating well even in the morning, because ugali, I don't know why it's tamu. So. Giant Millers, trust me, you're doing an amazing job. So if you want to taste kana, it's there. It's an amazing flour. Ungaleke ni tamu. Kuna unga na kuna kana. Don't forget that. That will be my mantra. Kuna unga na kuna kana. Trust me, the ugali comes out perfect. You won't even question
the assignment.
Yes, Giant Millers, you understood the assignment. This is a message from my mouth to your ears. You understood the assignment, because yesterday I was surprised if I can actually finish that amount of ugali. But I'm not going to shout, maybe. But trust me, just go look for kana unga. It's the amazing one. It's the perfect. It's sweet, and trust me, ni tamu. When I say it's sweet, it's sweet.
It's sweet.
Yes, back to, I don't want to say kufanya watu wameze mata na ni asubuhi tufikiri kuanza kupika ugali asubuhi.
Ugali. Na wengine washaingia kazini.
They're like, yes. So back to what we're discussing about the demand, the factors affecting demand and supply in agriculture. And one particular factor that cuts across both demand and supply is the price of the product or the price of the commodity that you're selling. If I'm actually selling mangoes, my demand in the market depends on what price am I going to sell at, and I'm actually going to supply after I demand. Angalia market when you na so these mangoes I was aspiring to sell them 20 each. The market nitakunukiwa 15 bob. What am I supposed to do? So these are some of the factors that affect demand and supply. We have the price of that particular commodity that is there, that has been demanded. That's the wrong way to phrase it, but the price of the commodity that you're trying to supply to the market and its demand in the market, the pricing of that particular commodity, that's the market price, actually is a major factor to farmers. That you find, for example, I had put so much into maybe onions, like ile unakuwa umejituma, ndio kujituma, like you like put everything, check pesticides, check fertilizer, check soil test, check, like everything was just check, depending on your plan. On your plan.
Business plan.
We're talking about business plan. Depending on your plan. So depending on that particular plan, everything is actually check. And you actually realize that ulikuwa budget for you to actually gain something for maybe profit and invest a little bit and maybe taking something back to the soil again, maybe kupanda tena. Ulikuwa umesema for me to get that money back, I'm going to sell these mangoes because they're of good quality and the quantity that you aspired is actually here. But unatoka kwa market tunaambia maembe moja ni 15 bob. That's like half the price that you were expecting. Unaanza wapi Diana? I'm calling Diana. Joanne, where do you start?
Hey, it's difficult. It's very difficult, especially for perishable goods, because mango is perishable. So
there is no way you're going to store it.
You cannot store it. So it's either you decide to either move with the 15 bob.
The 15 bob, at least you get something back.
But the good thing with the current generation we have value addition.
You have actually we have value addition for mangoes. Actually, I saw there. I don't know if it's face products made from mangoes. I was surprised. Like agriculture is broadening in a pace that we're trying to keep up. Like pace here wanna move very fast because if the market is not selling what I want, then I'm going for value addition because this one I'm going to get more and better.
That is the good thing about the condition, the solution. People found a solution for perishable goods. The same thing with kales. We also have dried mangoes. We also have dried kales and spinach. They usually
frozen.
Frozen, and they are grounded vegetables. The same thing. But if you are talking about, let's say, maize, before, you can decide to store.
Invest in storage because you know with maize it's just storage. Dry, malia kutengiloa, do everything.
Millet,
those kind of cereals, it's easy to store for them, so that you can at least wait for them to get back. But you know, as you told me, you discouraged me. You like maybe the market was so good, things did sell out, and maybe the farming season was good. So there's no
guarantee. There's no guarantee that the prices may go up. Yes.
So there's no guarantee, or maybe there's no shortage of that particular good in the market. There's not going to be shortage because everything went as it should be. So it means the loss is yours. But we're trying to understand on these factors that affect demand and supply, and actually not just understanding, because we are here at AFarmers, we understand your challenge and we must come up with a solution. Say for example you have mangoes and whatever price that you want to sell in the market is not the price that you wanted to sell, then you can try something out else. You can try storage. It's where you can store mangoes and have them fresh. But it shouldn't be for a long time. It's not a guarantee. You can try value addition.
That is the thing with perishable goods. Even if you store them, the shelf life is still
the shelf life
low.
It's low. Doesn't stay in the shelf sana.
So but the good thing is even with non-perishable goods, there's also value addition for them. You don't have to necessarily wait for your maize to dry. Squeezy kuna mutungo. People call mutungo the boiled maize. I'm sorry. In my language we call it mutungo.
You are lost. Am I in another country? Am I lost?
My apologies. But there is that boiled maize. You know it now. You understand it.
Yes.
And then there is the
maybe Mandia Kuchoma, which sells a lot sana. That's one commodity that sells sana.
Yes, that there are few ways you can move around it. But by the end of the day, the price still matters because it's the first thing you'll check. Where am I getting more? By the end of the day, it's all about the price.
Yeah, it's all the price because at the end of the day, you say it's just having money in your pocket.
Exactly. If there is that big demand of the grains, people are going to buy more. But then, if there is a lower demand, the suppliers may stay with their goods.
With the goods for a while, maybe the market. You see, getting to understand some of these factors and actually come up with a solution. For example, you find the pricing that you had put on your particular commodity is not what you are aspiring to. There are other options you can try value addition, which is the plan A and plan A. So that's a plan A. That's a plan B. B. I don't think there's plan C. For commodities, we work better with plan B. So you can try value addition if it's honey, it's not selling, you can try making lip balm, lotion with that particular honey. Maybe market kila mtu anakula asali, so the demand is really low, and the supply is, because as the supply is high, the demand inarudi chini, because when you eat something a lot, unaboeka. You don't eat it as much, so you can try value addition for you to get profits. Another thing I think is that affects the demand and supply of my commodity in the market is number of farms or number of farmers, number of producers producing that particular commodity. If it's maize, how many maize farmers are there in the country? How many farmers actually do things perfect? Everything's that perfect. Fertilizer on time, plowing on time, weeding on time, everything's enough. How many farmers do actually do that? So you actually, this is another challenge, major challenge that is actually affecting farmers, because you have your mangoes, yes, but there's so many farmers selling mangoes.
Yes.
You have your onions, but there's so many farmers selling onions.
Yes.
And I think this is where we come in. This is whereby we tell farmers to try different, plant different commodities.
Yes.
Try maybe onions, try tomatoes, try capsicum, try beetroot. This way you're going, the piece of land that you have is going at least to sell. Maybe if onions, the demand is really low, at least beetroot is going to save you, because maybe the demand of beetroot iko juu sana. So at least you get to have at least account of the money that you used in the farm.
And I totally agree with you, because the number of farmers who farm capsicum, the yellow ones, the red ones, they are very few.
But not so many people consume yellow.
But then there's a very ready market.
Yes.
If you actually access that market, you may make it. So make it and have the same demand each and every single time. You'll never have stress with
this is whereby we tell farmers that this is some of the things that we here at AFarmers encourage farmers to do. Encourage Mercy as the aspiring farmer to do. That before you actually try to plant something, go and do a thorough research in the market.
Yes, of the market.
Find the missing thing. Find that one particular thing that is missing, or find that particular thing that is doing good in the market, or just take risk. And even if the commodity kuna watu wengi, do your own way. Do your magic, because it's an art. Draw your own way, because there are drawings that maybe probably I can draw and you draw. Maybe you can decide to draw a full person, and maybe me I can just decide to mwaga tu rangi somehow, just simple. Maybe my painting sells more than yours.
Yes.
Your farm being the work or the place of making your art, just do your magic. Work out your magic. Do something extraordinary.
Especially one advice I would give farmers is check the timeline. If most farmers are doing this at this time, and there's still demand after their commodities are done, you can maybe do it at a later time. But so that your commodity will have available market.
But there's one thing again that hinders farmer. Let's say, for example, we are in this is a period for long rains. We have April. We are in April right now, and probably maybe tomatoes maybe take 3 to 4 months in the shamba. Let's give it 4 months. So probably kama nilikuwa nimepanda tomatoes in January, this means that April they're ready.
By the end of April.
But remember, end of April, early April, there's rain. You see, and this rain is going to seriously affect my tomatoes. These are one of the things that should look. As we said, calculate everything backwards.
Yes.
Go to the market. Of course, yes, saizi demand iko very high because supply iko chini. Watu si wengi wanauza tomatoes because watu wana tomatoes, but take it backward. Okay, yes. If by any chance my 4 months zinaisha sahi, a month ago, what season is it? Is there rainfall? If there's no rainfall, what is my option B? Am I going to do irrigation? Am I if yes, it's irrigation. How am I going to get water from? Is it rain? There's no rain. Is it taps? Is it digging a borehole? Is it maybe depending on a river? I'm digging a borehole. What am I going to use to pump that water? Is it a generator? Is it a solar water pump. These are some of the factors that you seriously, you as a farmer, need to closely investigate. Let me say investigate, because investigation actually is
also the land you're using. There are people who use greenhouses. That idea is basically mostly for people who use greenhouses, because you can regulate. Greenhouse,
but the problem is the greenhouse. But do farmers actually buy commodities from the greenhouse? Because the other day we were in Kitengela market, and farmers were saying that we as farmers, we don't sell tomatoes from Kitengela market, from the greenhouse. But maybe someone is taking good of a broker somewhere, anajua where there is a demand for greenhouse tomatoes, anazipeleka. You see, and get to interact with these brokers and these guys up in between, these brokers and intermediaries. Get to interact with them, because trust me, those guys, the information is always on their fingertips. They know a lot. They know what lacks where is it lacking, what's the solution, how are we going to do it. If the demand is high now and the supply is low, what is the solution? So those are some of the guys that should actually look at and get to interact with and understand. This way, you're saying that underground angalia venye vitu ziko.
Kulima ni business, tough business.
It's a tough
serious business. Serious business. Yes. So you need to tick all the boxes before you even venture into something. Yes. Basically, that is the thing about farming. You have to tick. Like, you see, we were talking about something, and then you discovered maybe something like this might happen if we follow that part. Yes. So basically, we talked about this when we are discussing about a business plan. If you're going to do a certain commodity, please check. Unaona vile sahi tunaongea and stuff are just coming out. And you're like, hey, now imagine ulienda ku plant and you didn't check.
You didn't check. That's why you say do it backwards, because backwards you're going to get every single bit of it. You're going to miss nothing, because you're doing it thoroughly. Market.
And seriously.
Logistics, yes. Harvesting, yes. Storage, yes. Plowing, yes. Applying fertilizer, yes. Pesticides, water, now soil testing, until you reach the final stage of you actually doing soil testing, or maybe the plan itself.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying you do things backward, like rudi nyuma tu pole pole, take your time, no rush, because this art of ours, we as a farmers are going to call this is an art. So this art of ours doesn't need rush. I don't want to do something because Joanna is doing it. I don't want to plant bananas because Joanna is planting bananas and she's selling. She's become a millionaire out of planting bananas. No, I want to do something because I want to do it different. Or maybe I want to do my farming, and the reason of me starting farming is not even actually to plant commodities. It's me having a tourist attraction out of my farm. Maybe people want to come and see how berries are planted, how oranges are planted. You see, those that we have very two different people. Maybe I'm planting for gain, or I'm investing in farming, but probably I'm doing for leisure. So don't do something because someone else is actually doing it. So when you actually do something, do it because you wanna do it.
Yes.
Don't do it because someone else is doing it. Before we go for a break, we want to look at one other factor that affects demand and supply, and we have the price of inputs.
Yes.
Actually, this one should be the one in Nancy. The price of inputs, these fertilizers and chemicals, the prices of inputs actually affects demand and supply. Because you remember back then when the fertilizer prices hacked, people were like, personally, I'm not going to use fertilizer. So it means quality and quantity of my goods is not going to be that good. So you get, for example, I'm going to the market. I'm going to sell my cabbages, but these cabbages of mine has enough fertilizer. So my cabbages are not good as Joanne's cabbages zenye alitumia fertilizer on them. This is why now the difference comes in, and maybe you're complaining, why am I not selling? Why did I invest in this? But price of inputs is one major factor that is affecting farmers. And if it's actually affecting farmers, this means it's affecting demand and supply in the market.
Yes.
How am I going to supply goods? Or let's start with the spinal cord of this. it's the demand. When you get the demand of something, when you know the demand of something is high, that's when you supply it. You don't supply to something that you don't know if it's needed or it's not needed. So when you understand the demand of something, how am I going to buy tomatoes or how am I going to buy maize and you're fertilizer? So it means I'm not going to buy maize as such. Maybe this time around, but then I start buying maize. So if I'm not demanding for that particular maize, which means you're not selling, you as a supplier. And this is affecting both of us because I desperately needed maize, but there's no maize because the fertilizer prices were high. So it's another major problem that actually farmers are facing.
And to add on that, the price of inputs. Fertilizers really help with so many issues like water retention, stunted growth, and all this. If you didn't use the right inputs
at the beginning of farming or during farming,
even your supply of goods will go down because they won't have the health to fight all those things.
Healthy.
Yes, so basically your supply will go down. There will be no supply. Juu kama ni cabbage, unaangalia ile affectiwa na nini? Na certain
type of, it was invested by something, some wadudu's insects.
Yes. So if you are producing, say, let's say 1,000 cabbages, now you might actually
you might actually go down to 300.
Yes, to 300. So what happened to the supply? It has gone down.
It has gone down.
Yes.
Maybe probably the market desperately needs these cabbages.
Yes. Maybe they even survive and you get your 500. But the shape of it, people have their own preferences.
A lot of people are used to the shape, to the size, the weight of it. And also people are used to, I'm going to buy Joanne's cabbages because they're big and I'm going to get my instant 1,000 cabbages that I need.
Yes.
You see, so, you're actually even affecting your market.
Yes. So when you actually go to the market with the funny cabbage, the demand will go down. Another thing, if, as you've said, you are expecting 1,000 cabbages, and now they are 700, they're 300. You'll have to go look for another supplier who has 700. So basically, your demand will still go down. Juu sasa hata rudi kwako next season, amepata another supplier.
So now consistency is everything in farming. Yes. If you are the one supplying the beetroots, there's no way I'm going to come this season nadiko so sure I'm going to get beetroots from Joanne, but napata sina beetroots. How is that even possible?
Yes,
for me to come back the following
you will not come back
because you disappointed me.
Now you go down the list.
And maybe it's not even your problem. We go back now to the price of inputs. Yes. These are a major factor that's affecting farmers. Yes. But now, thank God that the prices of fertilizer are subsidized. So you as a farmer, ensure that you use fertilizer on your farm. Ensure that you use correct pesticides in your farm also. This is the AFarmers Hot Breakfast Show. And this is the AFarmers Hot Breakfast Show. And Joanne, before we go for a break, tell us, what were the questions that we had posted earlier on, apart from the TBT?
So, when do you supply more? Is it when the demand is high or when the demand is low? Yes.
Yeah, so that's our question. You as a supplier, when do you supply more? And please don't forget to share your TBT. This is the Breakfast Show. We're taking a short commercial break. We'll be back soon.
Pesticides can be very harmful to humans and environment if they're not properly handled. Safe handling of pesticides involves proper selection and careful handling during mixing and application. However, as useful as they are, they're inherently toxic. Here are some ways you can handle pesticides for your own safety, your farms, and the people around you.
We are looking at reduced accumulation of obsolete pest control products in the country as one. We are also looking at the associated conservation of environment and also protection, conservation of beneficial insects such as pollinators and predators. which are used to control other pests.
Before you use the pesticide, read the label and leaflet carefully. Measure the required quantity of pesticide.
You have to have adequate clean water for the mixing. Adequate meaning enough to dilute the pesticide and also enough to do the cleaning of the equipment and yourself after the application. During the mixing process, you are also supposed to be wearing your personal protective equipment or PPE, and this is to avoid exposure to the pesticides.
Applicators and handlers need to wear appropriate personal protective equipment specified on pesticide product labels by pictogram. In hot and humid climates, the wearing of additional protective clothing may be uncomfortable, and pesticides should therefore be applied during the cooler hours of the day. Care should be taken not to touch any part of the body with gloves while handling pesticides. Avoid spillage and prepare spray fluid in well-ventilated area. Do not eat, drink or smoke when handling pesticides. Check the spray equipment before use for any leakages and accurate delivery of spray solution. The nozzle should be directed to the side, away from the body. This prevents applicators walking into the spray cloud or recently sprayed foliage. Inspect equipment regularly for leaks. Leaking equipment should be repaired and the skin should be washed after any accidental contamination. While applying pesticides, be sure to follow application instructions precisely. More is not better. Unnecessary and/or incorrect application can result in exceedance of maximum residue levels, which can make the produce unmarketable.
All consumers want to eat safe food. So whenever there is an issue of what we call exceedance of pesticides, or what we call maximum residual levels of a particular pesticide, then what happens is that the market becomes very concerned because they want to assure their consumers that they're eating safe food, which basically is healthy. And then what they will do is that they are going to discontinue the supply of the products that you're exporting.
In contrast, responsible and correct pesticide use following good agricultural practices protects the crop and keeps residues within acceptable limits required for sale. Incorrect application of pesticides can damage the crops and have a negative effect on human health and the environment.
The vision is basically to ensure that we can bring as many farmers to understand the importance of safe use of pesticides, to understand the institutions that are involved in regulation of pesticides, to understand that pesticides, when used well, will support production or increase production, and more importantly, the risks associated to the environment from pesticides.
Once you have finished applying the pesticides on target crops, empty the spray tank completely after spraying. Spray any remaining spray mix on the ground of the treated crop. Triple rinse and puncture the empty pesticide containers and place this in a safe place for disposal. Ask your supplier or agro dealer about a collection scheme. Clean the spray equipment immediately after use. Decontaminate protective clothing and footwear through following proper laundering or cleaning instructions. Wash the hands and body thoroughly with soap water. A sprayed field must be marked and unauthorized entry should be prevented. In case of suspected poisoning, please refer to the label for instructions and call the Poison Center on toll-free line indicated on the label. Report the specific pesticide used. Mishandling pesticides could have adverse effects on not only plants but also humans and the environment. Proper care and instructions should be adhered to always. Farmers are advised to attend available trainings on good agricultural practices and pesticide use within their counties to ensure safety while handling pesticides. Remember, proper usage of pesticides increases yields and market access for your produce. Food safety is everyone's responsibility, starting with the farmer. Dawa bora, mazao bora.
Welcome back to the AFarmers Media Hot Breakfast Show with me, Mercy Kemunto.
John Nyambura.
With me, the young farmer, the aspiring young farmer.
And me.
And you're the professional farmer, as she said. Yes, welcome back. We're so glad that you've joined us. This is the last stretch of this show. And we are excited that you've joined us. And we're discussing about demand and supply in agriculture.
Yes.
But before we go there, don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to share your TBT. It's at TBT Thursday. So don't forget to follow us at AFarmers Media on Facebook. We are AFarmers Media on LinkedIn and AFarmers Media on YouTube. On Instagram and Twitter, we are at AFarmers with a Z. Don't forget to join us there. That's where you find us. You can actually call us on 0700 293031. That is 0700293031. That's the number that you can get us if you need any help or any assistance. Don't also forget to join the Africa Farmers Club. We've been discussing on demand and supply. We got to understand at the beginning of the show what is demand and what is supply. We've also looked on some of the factors that actually affect the demand and supply in the market.
Yes.
And one of the factors that we've seen is the price of the product, the number of farmers or producers or farms that are producing that particular product that you want to take to the market or that you require from the market. And before we went for a break, we looked at the price of the inputs, which has been a major challenge to the farmers currently.
Yes.
And trust me, I think when the fertilizer prices subsidized, it was a breathing moment for farmers because there was a lot of heat on them, there was a lot of pressure, do this, do that, don't do this, and every other thing. But at least now you can plant your crops using fertilizers. On another, I'd say another factor that is affecting the demand and supply in the market. John, can you take us, what do you think are some of these factors that are affecting farmers, not factors that are affecting the demand and supply?
Yes.
Of your produce or maybe even of your livestock. Because this agriculture and sector, agriculture is big with fisheries, we have livestock, we have poultry, all those that's all agriculture.
True.
Yes.
I think the other factor might be substitution of the product you're growing.
You are the alternative product that you
definitely.
actually that is in the market.
Yes.
If for example we have coffee.
Yes, and tea.
If coffee goes high, people opt for tea. If tea goes high. So that's another factor that affects your demand, because maybe when you're producing more and maybe when a summer season is season that people are taking so much coffee, but later on you come to realize that actually people shifted from coffee back to tea because tea maybe probably was actually cheaper. That's another factor.
Another easier example would be right now the price of eggs and the price of beans.
The price of both are proteins.
Yes, both are proteins. They can substitute each other.
Yes. So maybe someone opts to go for beans, maybe they're cheaper.
So you might want to job like very expensive.
Eggs are very expensive.
So,
eggs are expensive. Yes. For those people who don't eat eggs, I think that's not even affecting them. But eggs, their prices have gone so high. I've never seen the price of eggs so this high. Because I remember, as long as I can remember, I think there's a price. Eggs were 9 shillings.
Yes, and 7.
And 7. Yes. I didn't reach for 7, but I was at 9. Yes. So I want us, because this is the final stretch of this show, before we finish and we look at your TBTs, another thing that we have is unpredictable events that affect maybe nyanyazi. Unasema from afar and you look at your farm and you're like, oh my good Lord, this is my work and I'm so proud of it. 2 days later inaanza kunyesha. And you're like, what? So the market was ready and your demand was perfect. So this affects your supply because nyanya zimeharibika. So you actually even don't know what to do. But that's why we advise you as a farmer, do your timings, okay? These are unpredictable events, these are natural events that you can't actually stop, but do your timings well. If possible, harvest your crops before the rains, or if they should be harvested during the rains with your upper harvest, to avoid such unpredictable events and circumstances that lead to great losses.
On the same point, there are other events like the political events.
Yes,
like
actually,
the war in Ukraine.
The war in Ukraine. I don't know. We are not Ukrainians. We are not Russians. Yes, but somehow this actually war affected us, and this is the fact that we as Kenyans fully depend on imports from other countries.
Yes,
and which is not good, but we have to.
You see what happened to the cooking oil.
Yes, because we expect from it.
Because they're the main suppliers of
they're the main suppliers, same to fuel, same to fertilizers, they're the main suppliers. But now you're hoping that things are going to actually get better.
And I think it's supposed to be a challenge to us
to actually try out maybe and do its value addition to be independent somehow. If we are capable of doing something, we should actually have our own plan B. If plan A fails, at least you have an option to do it.
Especially when it comes to food. I still feel like food is the basic thing that we need, and we need to be very innovative, because some of these things that are making us have food insecurity, there are things we can actually solve.
Another thing, I think there should be no taxation on food items.
Yes, but hey, Lord.
That's not possible. We can't survive without taxes. So we're just hoping that things are going to get better. So basically, that's all that we were discussing about the factors affecting demand and supply in the market. But,
I feel like we should touch something. As you said, there are people who don't take eggs. So there's the issue of preference. Yes. There's someone. Yes, what would you opt? If you decide today I'm going to have eggs and I do not take eggs, you see
what proteins? You take more of protein. You take more of proteins. You take maybe probably more of meat. You find that those people who don't love eggs, they actually love meat.
Another thing is like I would prefer having rabbit meat over chicken meat. So by the end of the day, always the demand of rabbit meat for me, for the guy I buy from, will always be high.
Because that's your option B.
Yes,
that's your preference.
Yes, that is my preference.
Yes, that's great. So we're coming towards the end of the show, and we asked you to share some of your activities. Some people are sharing pictures that we can't post. We're not going to embarrass you online, but you've already posted them. So you just checking down the comment section below, you can see some of these activities of people that are actually sharing out here. And trust me, I'm being fascinated. I'm not the only flamingo girl. As she decided to call me today morning, I'm not mad by the way. As you can see, my energy has been retained during the show, but maybe probably once that camera goes off, things might go haywire over here.
If you don't see me tomorrow, you know the reason.
Me, I didn't say anything. I just said I don't have bad feelings. I don't have bad feelings that I'm the flamingo girl. I'm so much excited that you actually joined us this morning for this particular show. Thank you for joining us. But we're going to look for expertise on our next show. We want to discuss on the different types of demand. We actually almost have up to almost 10 different types of demand. Yes. From cross demand, this is whereby two commodities the one cannot do without each other, car and fuel. So that's a cross demand. We're going to look at cross demand and also going to find an expertise in this particular field, so that if you have any question, you can continue posting them down below, such that when this person comes in, you're going to answer some of your burning questions that you have about demand and supply. It's a very broad topic in agriculture. That one topic that we want to keep on insisting, same the way we do at soil testing. Actually, I know you're tired of me insisting on soil testing, but when I insist on it, trust me, it's very, very important. Yes.
It is.
Yes, Joanne, your final words.
The thing on soil testing is like the food you eat. It's the same thing. So if you eat healthy food, you'll have a healthy life. But that is the same thing. If you have a healthy soil, your products.
Crops.
Yes, exactly. And basically, I feel like it was a very good discussion today. At the start of the day. Easy content, you had to be very fresh. Yeah,
you had to be very fresh. This is an amazing content at a very bright morning as today. Wherever you are watching, if you're stuck in traffic, please sit tight. Be safe, drive carefully, be safe. Just drive sure so that you arrive at your destination safe. So I basically think those were your final words for us. Yes. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sticking in during the show. We are so glad that you've tuned in. We're glad that you joined us, and we appreciate every single minute of yours that you actually take to come and sit down, take your phone or on your TV and actually take time to watch this particular show. Don't forget Diana Mdege is coming in Shajara Mkulima, that is from 11, and Ryan Mwenda will be here for Farm Drive at 3 p.m. Stick around for great knowledge, stick around for more knowledge, and when you know, remember, when you have more knowledge, you have more profits, because you get to learn, you get to understand testimonials, you get to understand everything about farming in this field. Me as aspiring farmer, that's all I had for today. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. I was glad you are here. Bye-bye.
Bye.